Hello and welcome to a new kitchen project. Today I am going to take you around a new kitchen that has been recently completed and talk to you about the planning, preparation and problem solving that goes into a project like this. So I am currently sitting in a north facing kitchen, which means it doesn't get any natural sunlight, particularly in winter, and my client for this project had the explicit brief, number one priority, that this kitchen be brighter than her previous kitchen. Here at Built in Benevina, when I am working with a client, we usually start with an interview followed by a lot of brainstorming and a lot of to and fro in the design process. So in front of me here I have a sheet of paper taken from an information booklet that I prepared, and it essentially shows a somewhat cartoonish style of 3D CAD model, and the idea is to show all of the features of the new project in as much detail as possible, but lacking in the actual photographic realism. So the design for this kitchen is a fairly compact L-shaped kitchen. So the previous kitchen was a similar floor plan to this kitchen, this new one, but it didn't have the right storage space or utility that a house of this size really requires. So in general, we've got food storage, food preparation and cooking, and we've got a wash up area and a general mixed use area at the end with some nice generous overhead storage. One of the main reasons I wanted to show you this was that if you are going on a project like this, you are going to have to use your imagination and trust that the results will be worth it. This is the kitchen. Just take a sweep and have a look. So the main materials, on the ground we have porcelain tiles, quite large porcelain tiles, in a very light grey. So a very light colour to get us started. And the main body of the kitchen is made from birch plywood. So a very high quality material, very water resistant, but also very light coloured. So as we can see here, quite bright. So that lightens things up versus what we originally had. And the main facing material of the kitchen is ash. So all of the drawers are ash, and all of the doors are ash, and all of the decorative panel covers are ash. Ash is a very light coloured wood, but also has a lot of variation. So you see a lot of dark patterning across the wood grain. And finally, we have beech as our countertop material. It's quite a mellow coloured wood, quite light coloured, quite warm. This is steamed beech, so it brings out a more orangey colour. And that helps brighten up the whole space. And as you will have noticed, one of the things that really helps brighten up this kitchen is that it creates its own lighting. So we have a lot of built-in lighting, so both on the toe kicks, at the bottoms of the cabinets, and up the side of the walls, around the fridge alcove, inside all of the glass cabinets, and underneath the cabinets here above the countertops. And here we actually have two types of light. So there's two circuits. So if we come down here, you'll be able to see we have a white light which shines out onto the countertop, and we have an RGB light which is currently set on a colour cycle. So it'll cycle through colours and it'll accent on the walls, and that provides mood lighting. So it can be individually set to be whatever colour you want it to be, or it can be run on this cycle, or it can be run on a more plain whiter light if you do so wish. In terms of practicalities, so in a kitchen of this size, we're not really well suited to having a built-in stationary island. It's not quite big enough for walkways if you do that. So we've addressed the storage situation in a number of ways. So as you may be able to tell already, these cabinets are not a standard depth. So my client wanted a nice large American style fridge freezer, which is about 10 centimeters deeper than the standard British unit. And she didn't want a step in from the fridge unit. So what we decided to do was bring out the standard cabinets, go for extra deep countertops, which allows for extra deep drawers. These drawers are 650mm deep to maximize storage capacity. And that really means that you get a lot more countertop space. So you can have things set on the countertop and still work in front of them. And it means that you can get some really deep cabinets. So in this kitchen, we actually have 2 timbre cabinets. And what the timbre cabinets allow is for you to have a sliding door, which can then have a carousel behind. And the benefit of the sliding door is it can stay open while you're cooking, allowing for ready access to whatever you may need, glass bowls, cutlery, even if you want to store food mixers or something in this kind of compartment. And as you can see, this stretches a long way back. This is a much wider carousel that you can buy off the shelf. And if you take a look inside, you'll see there's no central spindle. These carousels are actually bearing mounted, so it means you can fit almost anything inside and you're not limited in the center of the carousel. And here, if you follow me around, you can see the second carousel. And they just run on smooth ball bearing guides. In terms of styling, we're trying to maintain a bit of continuity with the style. So because we knew we were going with the birch plywood as the cabinet bodies, birch is quite a premium material, so we wanted to make the most of it. We didn't want to hide it away. And one of the nice things about birch is there's no voids in the plywood, so it's a very nice uniform straight line that you get on the edge. So we decided to go with inset cabinet doors in a shaker style. So we show off the lines on the plywood. We can actually bring that in with other design aspects of the kitchen. So for the glass, we went for a reeded glass pattern. So that helps distort the light coming from the inside of the cabinets and add a bit of visual interest. We're also able to make these segmented curved panels for the cooker hood cover, which adds a nice decorative element. And soft curves. And then we've got the vertical lines here of the timbre cabinet, which also match in with the plywood edge. And then down at the end here, to bookend this peninsula cabinet and this run of cabinetry, we've got more lines here. And these are more even segments. This panel here is actually structural, it's not just decorative, so everything has a purpose. Then up here at the countertop, we've gone for wide beech boards. So that makes a point of difference to anything you can really buy off the shelf. So normal off the shelf countertops, when they're made out of solid wood, usually come in thin strips because it's easier to manufacture. But we've just gone for some nice wide boards here because they're nice to look at. And they're a bit more, they make the countertop less cluttered, which I think is important because this countertop here is about 1 meter deep. So if you had a lot of thin strips up here, it would be very in your face. There'd be a lot to look at. But because these are only wide boards, Beech is a very minimalist grain pattern, then it actually it's nicer to look at because it doesn't sort of shout at you as much. It's a bit quieter. And then coming around here, so in terms of upstands, we went for ash for the upstands at the back of the countertops. That's a bit of contrast, and because the ash doesn't have to deal with standing water, we can put that in a matte finish. And then up here at the top, we've got a nice beech windowsill with a cool detailing on the front, with just a bit more of those sort of like linear styling notes. Over here in the food storage section, we have quite a thin profile for our larder. So these 5 drawers act as the larder for the kitchen. And these house anything you could ever want. Again, extra deep drawers, good height on each of them, and really easy to get in and everything. Because we put the solid back on here because of the wall, you'll never be reaching around here anyway. Then it means you can stack stuff up against the side of the drawer. And in terms of general drawer storage, very large cutlery drawer with built-in organizer. Offers a lot of flexibility. 3 similarly sized drawers and then an extra deep drawer for any large pots and pans you may want. In theory, this could have an organizer in it as well, but my client wasn't sure what she wanted to put in here, so that's left. Here we have a lower than average toe kick, which allows for a generously sized drawer underneath the cooker. Again, full depth, you can fit fully sized trays in here. And on the side here, to make use of this space, we just went for skinny drawers, suitable for spices or all manner of things. They've got a good depth, so they're not limited. And then over here, on the other side of the kitchen, we have a large display dresser cabinet. So plenty of storage in this one. Bright open shelving. Easy to know where everything is with the glass doors. Sturdy shelf here. We went double thick with these cabinet bodies. So it gives the cabinet a bit more presence, a bit more stability. And because it's floating here on its own, you kind of need that. And then underneath this, we have a mobile workstation island. So this could be very flexible in terms of how you can use it. So you could use it as extra worktop, or you could use it as an extra serving surface if everything else is in use. And then in here, we've incorporated a nice wide drawer and a couple of large storage cupboards. So it could be left underneath here if you don't need it, and it can be taken out and used if you do need it. You've got that flexibility. So I think that's a wrap really on everything in this kitchen. I probably missed a few things, so if you are interested and you want to know more, then feel free to leave a comment or a message or send me a direct message if this is on Instagram.